God's blessing be on this video and on anyone that hears it. What a beautiful book I lent from my local Orthodox parish this weekend. I've been delving into it with great joy and really, wow, what a great book. It looks at, it says Orthodoxy and the Religion of the Future. It was written in 1975 and you can see, look, 12th reprinting, 2018, and chances are there's been another one since. This is testament to the fact this is a book that remains fresh in our times, very, very fresh. I mean, this was my youth, this book, without knowing it. He speaks about how the Hindu influences, the Eastern religions influencing the Western Christendom, Western Christianity, Western post-Christianity, and then the various attempts to build a kind of a hybrid combining like Christian yoga or Zen Christianity and Zen and things like that, which, you know, has definitely been a part of my journey as I've gone along. I mean, who hasn't discovered the likes of William Johnson or even more so Thomas Merton along the way? I mean, this guy had a massive influence in my life. You know, one thinks, well, he's a Catholic monk and I was a Catholic monk, and hey, you know, this guy's discovered something really special in Zen Buddhism, in Buddhist tantric practices, etc., and seems to be able to combine them with Christianity. Seraphim Rose, Father Seraphim Rose, very, very beautiful, authentic, deep, contemplative soul, is going to say, be careful, because no. You know, in this book, he speaks about how, you know, you're not just praying to false gods. You're praying to pagan gods. Very often with this transcendental meditation and the various Eastern meditation practice speaks about yoga, for example, and he does say that, you know, it should be added that people who say we only do it for physical well-being, I've tried to do that myself over the years, is already disposing himself towards certain spiritual attitudes and even experiences of which he is undoubtedly unaware. He speaks about, you know, the subtle nuances of the differences between Zen, yoga, tantric meditation, transcendental meditation, but overall there's and how these guys often, they tend to give lip service to the philokalia of the Orthodox tradition and say, well, you know, the Orthodox Christians are like us and they want to get beyond the rational mind and they practice mantras according to them, which we don't. And you know, so, and therefore try and market it to the likes of, you know, modernized, fallen away Roman Catholics and liberal Protestants who've sold into, you know, bought into kind of inclusivism and various shades of pluralism in the modern world. You know, Christian Zen, he's got a large treatment of that. He likens it to, you know, drug trances. People want to get beyond the material world. They want to get beyond the humdrum of a passing world which passes all too quick and you can't get access to again, and never fills our bellies, never fills our minds, or let alone our souls. We hunger and thirst for more. And that's where many young people go on the drug path, which he says can actually be worse than, you know, it can be worse than just staying in the humdrum, which is flatlining. But, you know, drugs can take you down into hell itself. Well, there's so much to talk. I mean, it's a beautiful book. All I can really do is recommend it. And I've only had a first dip, but I'm quite excited by it. That's generally when I tend to make my little videos. As a memory to myself, really. But, you know, for somebody like myself that was heavily influenced in this kind of stuff, and not too long ago, the likes of Paul Nitter, an ex-Roman Catholic monk who wrote a book called Without Buddha I Could Not Be a Christian. does a lot of damage, this stuff, blending and mending and molding, and saying you can be both and fully committed to both at the same time. And he says that this is really what Swami Vivekananda's thesis that he presented. Swami Vivekananda, and he talks, Father Seraphim Rose talks about this when he visited the West in the late 50s, early 60s. And it's basically Hinduism that was being presented, that all roads lead to excellence eventually, lead to union with God eventually. All roads are ultimately forms and symbols, but the truth is Veda underneath. It's Vedic truth underneath, and it's absolutely polar opposed to the truth of our Orthodox religion, to the Church, which presupposes in our meditation, in our ascetic struggles, in our philokalia, in our Jesus prayer, it presupposes conversion, conversio, to turn towards Christ and away from sin. It presupposes repentance and tears. It presupposes ongoing repentance. The ascetic struggle